With the world facing an economic downturn going into the holiday season of this year and even beyond, many are concerned with whether or not they will actually even be able to afford all the new and exciting consoles and games coming our way. People have less disposable income right now, which means that any purchase you make needs to be heavily considered and weighed. It needs to feel like what you are spending your money on is worth the money spent. It needs to have great value. It needs to be reasonably priced. When it comes to the newest PlayStation 5 console, this has left some fans worried considering PlayStation's history of sometimes overpricing. Will PlayStation's desire to please fans and ensure the PS5 gets in more homes take priority, or will they simply be looking at their own costs when it comes to setting the PS5's price? Welcome back, my fellow gamers. This is Top 10 Gaming and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight. Today we'll be trying to answer this question and figure out just how much the PS5 will cost. As always, be sure to stick around to the end of this list where we'll be diving into and responding to some of your comments from a previous video. Alright, let's put our thinking hats on and do some calculating. An important factor to consider is that when it comes to this generation of PlayStation console, we are going to see two different editions of the PS5, and that's excluding any special or limited editions of the console. There will be a digital edition and a standard edition. Both editions are basically just as chonky when it comes to how thick their design is, but the standard is just a little bit more thick as it has space for a disc drive, which the digital does not have. Those who decide to go digital will not be able to insert game discs, DVDs, or Blu-rays into their console. However, odds are good that going digital will of course then save you money, as you are not paying to have a drive. Digital may have no drive, but for most, this won't be a problem, as digital is the way of the future. It means less clutter when it comes to hoarding game discs and DVDs. However, what does this mean for your older generation games? The physical games that you already own become unplayable on the digital edition of the PS5, unless you also somehow happen to have digital copies of all of them. Of course, while digital will save you money if you don't want to worry about the lack of access to all the discs that you already own, you can always pay extra for the standard edition. But just how much is extra? PlayStation has yet to reveal a price for the PS5 console and isn't really even giving an estimate yet, which is unsurprising given the fact that we also don't have an exact release date for the newest generation of their console yet, and the fact that their competitor Microsoft has yet to reveal a price for their next-gen Xbox console, the Xbox Series X. Many feel that both sides are stuck in a stalemate game of chicken. Microsoft and Sony both holding off, waiting to see who will crack and reveal their price first, so that the other company has an opportunity to undercut and potentially come up with a better, more alluring price. Who will crack first is the question, and when? We'll have to wait to find out, but odds are good one side of this console war will likely be releasing their price sooner rather than later, as almost everyone has acknowledged how odd it is that we have so much information on both of these consoles and their specs, and yet we're still left in the dark when it comes to that price tag. We expected to see a price for the PS5 announced in February, but instead, all we got was a bunch of speculative discussion surrounding the manufacturing costs. Many articles estimated the manufacturing cost for the PS5 to be high due to the scarcity of components, many of which are actually in high demand due to their overlapping use in many smartphones. The ballpark manufacturing cost for the PS5 is said to be anywhere between $400 to $450 US, of course, which means that if Sony wanted to turn a profit, they would potentially have to charge over $450 US for the console. If we are basing the PS5 price off of their previous gross margin between sales price and manufacturing costs in regards to the PS4 sales, Sony will likely charge $470 for the PS5 console. This number, however, does run the risk of scaring away consumers, being so much higher than the PS4's initial release price of $399. False prices have leaked on Amazon sites around the world. Most of them have put the estimated retail price of the PS5 console at over $500, with some creating more realistic estimates of $499 for the standard version of the console and $399 for the digital version. While the higher estimate of $500 US sounds kinda scary, it seems more than likely that these estimated prices are just what they appear, fake, inflated prices, not really based on, well, any fact facts. In fact, Amazon France, who was reported to experience one of these leaks, actually released a statement saying that the post of the PS5 price that was being shown from their site was actually fake and didn't even come from their website. It turns out, as with most tech price news and, well, just news in general, let's be honest, you shouldn't believe everything you hear. There are numbers like this floating around that don't appear to be backed up by facts. So maybe do some research before, committing to one of these. Look at the sources. Some have speculated around not just the cost, but around what titles we might see included in the new PS5 bundle sets. These of course won't necessarily see a huge savings in terms of their cost to consumers, but if you get a cool digital or physical copy of a game, an insanely powerful new console, and maybe some new gaming equipment like a controller or a gaming headset, well, that'd be pretty cool. It's also possible that we'll see bundles that offer you a few free months of PlayStation Plus access, or perhaps a Spotify Premium subscription. Following the PS5 reveal event, many have speculated as to what titles we could see in a bundle, which could be anywhere from $500 to $600 in price, everything all in. We really don't have enough information yet, so that's kind of just based off of game costs, equipment costs, with like a little savings in there. Titles that are expected to appear in the PS5 bundles include Assassin's Creed Valhalla, FIFA 21, new Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and possibly Spider-Man Miles Morales. Be really cool if we got that game later this year, I'm just saying. One of the elements that many reports are fixating on is the number of units produced. That expensive manufacturing cost could translate to less units being produced. Less units could then in turn mean a higher price per unit is needed to make up for lost sales. In other words, less could end up translating to more money for us to pay. You know what I mean. There is the global state of the economy and production costs to consider when it comes to pinning down the perfect number of consoles to prepare for release. PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan, however, has said before that PlayStation's console development and price remains unaffected by the current global pandemic, which means that we should still see a good number of PS5 consoles produced and released, and their timeline will remain the same, with an expected release of the 2020 holiday season, likely in November before Black Friday. However, this also means that they likely won't be reducing their prices in consideration of most people, having less disposable income right now. The message PlayStation seems to be putting out there is the PS5 price will remain unchanged by the potential economic downturn. Wah wah. If we're looking at the past to help inform the potential future when it comes to console pricing for PlayStation, it is likely that they will try to keep the costs low. It is possible that PlayStation may even undercut their own manufacturing price when it comes to their retail price for the PS5 console, just to ensure that the console gets into gamers' homes, providing Sony and PlayStation with more future opportunity to make money and build the brand beyond just console sales. Why would they do this? Well, if the manufacturing cost is around $450 American, adding more on that cost to turn a profit is likely going to cost PlayStation customers. The PS3 did not perform as well when it came to sales of its console because of its high retail cost, whereas the PS4 cost at $399.99 at release was a complete success, selling 10 million more units than the PS3 did previously. This means that ideally PlayStation will want to keep the price around that number if they can, which they know has been a winner in the past. As such, it's estimated that the cost of the digital console will be closer to the $399 mark, and will likely be the better seller, while the standard console will be more pricey, possibly up to $100 more than the digital console, and as such will likely not be as high in demand. So there you have it. The estimate price for the PS5 digital to standard to bundled will likely be somewhere between $399 to just upwards of $600 US, all depending on what the price ends up being for the Xbox Series X console, and depending on which sales strategy PlayStation and Sony choose to utilize. Either sell less units with a higher cost and focus on profits, or cut costs, maybe even take a loss, in order to ensure future profits. Profit or brand building? Which do you think PlayStation will choose? Are you planning on buying a new PS5 console as soon as it comes out? Which do you prefer, Xbox or PlayStation? Which side of this console war are you on? Or do you just prefer Nintendo? What new PS5 games do you hope to see in 2020? Let us know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it's time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos, Top 10 Scary FNAF Mods. Aiden Britton asks, Amanda, did you know that Roblox has a game that's just like FNAF 1? It's called Animatronics Awakened. No, I didn't know about that one. I'll have to check it out sometime. I actually love how many FNAF games and FNAF inspired games there are in Roblox. There are so many creators that seem to take inspiration from their favorite games when it comes to building their own, and I really just love that. I think that is the beauty of gaming. It all inspires something else. The Life of Nintendo comments, unsurprisingly, Freddy's Ultimate Roleplay is my favorite FNAF game on Roblox. Wow, that's so awesome. I'm glad that it made the cut. You must have been proud to see it on the list. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your questions and thoughts shared in a future list. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Top 10 Gaming, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you to keep on gaming on. Pew pew! Math. No one likes math, but we're gonna do it. It's also... Wait, can you go back? Sorry. So does that make sense? See a huge saving. Either sell... Okay. Finish it up.